So when I've spoken about major 7 chords, minor 7 chords, augmented, diminished chords, diminished 7, 7 sharp 11s, and all these other chords that sound like high school algebra, it's not unnecessary, it isn't not needed, it's not anything extra to make myself sound smarter than I think I am. What it is to help us to actually understand what we're going and what we're actually trying to build. Now, what are upper extensions and why do we need them? My name is Chris Moses and this is Gospel Progressions University. So an upper extension, by definition, is simply the notes that color the tone that are beyond the root, the third, the fifth, and the seventh intervals of the scale tone or the chord. Now understand that knowing major scale tones in every key from C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, G flat, G, A flat, A, B flat, B is critical. You have to know every one of them, not just, your white keys or just the black keys. And when I say know them, I don't mean changes in every single key. You don't have to know how to play fluently or fluidly in every key, but you do have to know all the scale tones. That's just the beginning. The solfege, or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, or whatever it may be called. You have to know all of them because everything is built off of, everything I play is going to be built, and the way I teach, off of the major scale. So that's critical. So what I want to show now, let's take a look at the chord quality, or what chord quality actually is. So when I say chord quality, and of course, as customary with me, I will play it and show you in the key of C. There are 4 of them basically. So essentially just the chords themselves, the way they change depending on how we play them, meaning major chord, we move the E to E flat, a minor chord, we move this G down to the F sharp, G flat, we have a diminished chord, and we take these 2 notes and move them up. One a half step, the other a whole step. This is a whole step, this is a half step. So we go from, of course, here to our diminished. Again, major, minor, diminished, and augmented. I said diminished, I meant augmented. And so we have here now, if we notice that there's a occurring theme with the root note does not change, right? When we have those, we have the same root note in every instance. So we know that, okay, it's relative to something, which is C. C is the root, the captain. This is what everything is going to report to or be relative to. The next note that we have only changes either stays, goes down, or goes up. This is your third, whether it's minor or major. If you don't know what that is, I will get into that in a second. And we have, of course, the fifth now, which goes up. It can also be lowered. So it changes the most. So the least amount of change is no change is with the root. The least amount of change is with the third, and the most amount of change is with the fifth. So that should give you some insight and some into the characteristics of these chord qualities. Let's take a look at intervals. Simply put, an interval is just a distance between 2 notes. So I'll break this down really quickly for you. We have our perfects, we have our minors, we have majors, and then we have diminished. Those are the 4 principles of this interval, I believe it is. I think I'm right. So those are the 4 things we're looking at now. So the first thing we'll take a look at are, as far as intervals, are the perfects. Now you have to learn this. Don't fast forward. Don't skip past this. If you don't know this, nothing going forward will make any kind of sense to you. So this is our perfect here. And then now we have, this is an octave, or this could be a perfect. It's unison. Same note as this, same note as this. All right. So we have now the next perfect we have would be the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me back up here. For some of you that may not be familiar with the Nashville number system, each number is going to correspond to the letter of the key, meaning that the first note in C is C. Majors would be C, which would be number 1. The second note would be number 2. Third note is 3. Fourth note is 4. This would be F. Of course, 5 is G. 6 is C. And then back to 7. 2, 7, and then back to 1. 7-tone scale, major scale, and each scale tone is going to be given a number. So now we go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we have what's called here a perfect fifth. The reason why it's because in piano, when you're learning piano, everything is related to the note on the left. All right, so if I say to you an A flat chord, and that's a lot of times I play bass notes in the video. So you guys that are following along, if I don't want to do this and Like, what is he playing? He's playing an F sharp chord. Yeah, I could be, but what if I'm doing this now? It changes. So I don't want you to be thrown off. I'm not trying to show off here, but I'm trying to teach you something so you can understand where everything is related. So the leftmost note, whether it's played down here, whether it's played up here, even if you do everything here, this G here, if I say it's a major fifth or a perfect fifth rather, I'm relating it to this note here. Doesn't matter where it is. It's just to the note that's to the left. That would be the bottom note, so to speak, although it's way up there. So we have our perfect octave, we have our perfect fifth, and then we have the perfect fourth. So those are your perfect octave, fifth, perfect fifth, and perfect fourth. Notice that C didn't change, just like when we were doing those. All right, the chord quality, the C doesn't change because everything is related or relative to the captain. That's all the way in the root, the base, the head honcho, guy in charge, girl in charge. Now, with that, we have the minors. The minors are pretty much these black keys here. And you say, well, after this one, that's not a minor per se. We'll get to that. That would be a diminished. So perfect, 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 and our minor. So if we have 1, 2, what if I'm saying I'm going a major second up? Anytime I say major, it's always going to be referring to a white key in the key of C. If I say major anything, major second, major third, I wouldn't say perfect major third because it's a perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, and major seventh are all going to be in the key proper. It's going to be diatonic to C. Diatonic means I'm not playing anything black, all right? Playing everything white, all right? I'm not making it racist here, but you know what I'm trying to say. So with that, we move from C to C sharp is a minor second. From C to E flat is a minor third. From C to A flat G sharp is a minor sixth. C to B flat is a major, a minor sixth, minor seventh, or dominant seventh, but minor seventh. We'll just say minor seventh because we're not building a chord just yet. All right, so we have our minors. Those are all our minors. Minor second, minor third, minor sixth, and minor seventh, because we have our major second interval, which would be D2. Half step back is a minor. From C to E is a major third. Half step back is a minor third. From C to A is a sixth. Half step back is a minor. From C to B is 7. Half step back is a minor 7. Again, 1, 2, minor 2. 1, 2, 3, minor 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, minor 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, minor 7. So those are our minors. Briefly, our majors, if I didn't cover it already. C to E. C to D is a major second. C to E is a major third. C to A is a major sixth. C to B is a major seventh. And finally, our diminished. There's just one, which would be the F sharp. This is why I didn't include this one in the notes of minor intervals. This is our diminished because it repeats. This is the only one that has something different. It has to be doing something by itself on its own. Because it's the same thing with G flat. G flat is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is lowered. It's here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the same note or the same interval. They share the same thing. They're spaced exactly a tritone apart. So those are your intervals in a nutshell. So when we go now beyond triads, we're going to stack thirds. And when I say we're stacking thirds, we've already done that. If you've been playing for any length of time, if you're playing chords, you already, tend to stack chords. Now we're going to just stack notes and make chords. So when I say stack notes now, everything I play, if I didn't say this, I will underline it, italicize it, bold it, blow it up, 129 point font. We're gonna have to know everything in every major key. So I'm gonna relate it all the time to something major. So if we take C and we go up a minor third, all right, we have now a dyad. Say we have a C minor dyad, but we can also have that. So don't get it twisted. Go from C to a minor third. If we go from E flat to a major third, we have a minor triad. But now let's go back to a major triad. From C to E is a major third, because relating it to C major. From E to G, we won't say, well, G is a perfect fifth anymore. It is, but related to C. If we're relating it to E, it's a minor third. Why? Because if we think of it as major, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, okay? This would be a minor third. 1, 2, 3, minor 3. The extensions come about when we pass the root. We pass the third, the fifth, and the either 7th or minor 7th. So now since we're here and we go from B to D, we don't continue to say, well, this is 2, because we have 1, 2. This is supposed to be 2, 2, right? Or 2. It's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once we get here, we can continue to count, because this would be 8, an octave, 8, and then we have 9. We have 9 because we have the B or the B flat. In this case, we'll stick with the B. So we have C major 7. It's major because we have E. It's a 7 because it's the 7th interval. We have major 7. But if we add the D, we have a C major 9. This gives us another chord quality here, another chord tone extended. We have a 5-note chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we can invert this to do whatever we want to do with it. But to keep it simple, because it's 5 tones, we play it like this. We can, like I said, we can invert it and play it a bunch of different ways, or and change it. But for the principle here, I just want to show you that as we stack our thirds, this is how we get our chord extensions. So now if we continue to stack it, we say, okay, now what I'm going to do now is something that we have now F. Now you hear this, if I play it together, it has unless a dissonant sound, if this is what you're looking for, we would say, okay, this is a C major what? We have this, the 7th here, and we have the 3rd, and then we have this here, which would be 8, 9, 10, 11. But I wouldn't necessarily voice it like this because of this here. In C, in jazz, C, we play the F. Depending on how you play it, you have that as the avoid note because of the dissonance, the half tone, or the minor second sound, 1 minor second between the E and the F. But for what we're trying to do here, in either case, we can continue to stack and continue to build on that. Either in major, minor, thirds, those are the most common ways, which you also do in the major second. So we went from C, E, G. Once we got here, we can build it up in a minor second. We can go from B and go to a minor second here, or go from C and go up a major second. So this is outside the key, which is a minor second for C, C, minor second, major second. For B, relative to B major, all right, it's a minor second. I'm sorry. It's a minor second for B, a major second for B, a minor second for C. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So, but what it is also, we wouldn't say that it's a minor 9th for C. We would say that it's a C major 7th chord with a flat 9. Now let's back up a little bit. C, E, G. So we went to the B flat now instead of the B. That will give us a minor 3rd from G, a minor 7th from C, a minor 3rd from G. And if we play it all together, it gives us a C dominant chord, a C7 chord. We go now from C to B flat. I'm sorry, from B flat to D flat, which would give us, okay, if we went, this would give us what is this? We're in B flat. This would give us a minor 3rd, because B flat is. And we would have here a C7 chord with a flatted 9, or a C7 flat 9. So let me talk about the king and queen before we get too far into this. The king and queen. are going to be the third and the seventh intervals. Without those two, you can't do anything. Remember, I said the root doesn't really move. The one that moves the least is going to be the third, E flat and E in the case of C. But this is the king and queen, the third, or the king or the queen, depending on how you want to look at it. And then you have the seventh. You have your tritone from E to B flat, or you have the seven here. This gives you everything. The reason is it tells you whether the chord quality is major or minor. This tells you after you get to the seventh whether it's going to be a major seventh or a minor major seventh, okay, or minor major 9. Okay, so minor triad, major interval 8, 9, minor major 9. To me, when I first heard this was as clear as mud. But if you understand the structure of the third and how it plays a role, king and queen, and the seventh and how it plays a role, it will make sense. Major 9, minor major 9, okay? Minor 7, because we have the dominant 7 here, interval, or I would just say the minor 7th interval, and the minor chord tonality giving us a minor 7. So once we get past that 7, now we have the octave, so it's still a 7. But if we go from 8, the octave, to 9, we have a minor 9. C minor 9. So that's how we would extend that. We can keep going. C minor 9. Okay. Flat 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have here a C minor 11. Or you would say it's a C minor 9 or C11 with an add 9. I just say C minor 11 because I think of the minor, and after I got past this here, I said, okay, good. Well, I have my 9 and I have my 11. So we have something else over here too. We have a C minor with a major 7th, a major 9th. Okay? C minor, major 11. That's what I would call this. You could probably call it something else if you were to invert it to mess around with it a bit. There's a few things actually I could think of, but for all intents and purposes here, I want you to understand the purpose of stacking. When we stack, the very first thing we have to look at is if we're past the C or the root, the third, the 7th, and the 5th. Once you pass that, especially once you pass the 7th, that'll give us now the continuation, the extension, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and so on, because we can't keep going. All right, we can go all the way up to 13. I don't think there's a 14th chord, but we can go to the 13th. The 13th, of course, would be, obviously, if we counted it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Before we would have to start over again, because these notes are not repeated. If we did this, and if we go up, and if we change anything else, well, now we're back at, I don't have another hand, but I can, right. We're back up at C again, and we just keep repeating the whole thing, because that comes in right before we do, I'm sorry, where am I? Oh, here, right before we do an octave, because we're just going to repeat the same thing. That's part of why it ends at 13. So with that, we can either make a major 13 or minor 13, depending on what we do with this third over here, major or minor. And we can change it either a dominant, all right, or a major, depending on what we do with the 7th. That's why the king and queen are the third and the 7 intervals. So in summary, we have our chord quality, which is major, minor, augmented, and diminished. We have our intervals, which are the spaces between the two notes. We have the stacking principle, which helps us find extensions based on the notes on how we stack them. We have the actual extensions, and we looked at a couple of examples. Just remember that the 3rd and the 7th are the ruling elite. Without that, you don't have anything else. There's a lot more that I want to get into that I can get into with this, but it would turn into a very long video. However, I do go into some more things where you can actually use some of these principles of scales and notes. I have my free guide available to you to download. It's called What Do Pro Musicians Know That You Don't? Comes with a video and a PDF for you to learn, look at your leisure. You you can head on over to gospelprogressionsuniversity.com/gospel keys pro. God bless you, and I will see you in the next video.